Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I am the Survival Hermit, and today we're going to be talking about PvP, specifically Engagement Zone PvP, why it's not being done, why it's ultimately killing PvP servers in this game, and what hopefully the dev team can do to rectify that situation and make it a viable and valuable endgame PvP loop that will bring players back to the PvP servers and increase the overall playtime and availability of the game mode on those servers. So the first thing that I want to talk about is what is an engagement zone. Now everybody's pretty familiar, I think, with frontiers. Frontiers are these larger zones that warbands take control of and have wars over for resources and fun and all of that. Within these frontiers, you have a number of engagement zones. They vary anywhere from 3 to 6 engagement zones. I don't know what these zones are here, but these oil rigs, like the one I'm standing next to, are engagement zones. And you can take control of these engagement zones by building. You have to be in a hive, but if you're in a hive, you can build the securement equipment, and you build this structure anywhere that it allows you to build in this engagement zone. You can get it out pretty far out, about here, and you can get it over here, right? And so there's plenty of stuff that you can do to build out this engagement zone. And once you build this structure, you'll see in the top here that you have, well, this is a different build number because you only get 80 structures and you only get 30 facilities and decor when you actually build it out. But you can build that securement equipment, and then you own this engagement zone. You can put turrets here, you can put up to 4 generators, you get 30 facilities, and you get 80 structures. So you can build walls, you can build turret towers, you can do whatever you want. This is your little piece of land. And once you have ownership of the engagement zone, you can level it up, right? This says level 1, it goes all the way to level 3, and that increases its output. And you can also apply power to it. So you put your generators here, and if you allocate some of the power to the engagement zone, then it also increases its output. And when you do that, it starts to generate over time Stardust Source and barreled premium fuel. And then anybody, either you or an enemy, can walk right up to this, press F, and then they hold X and pull all the resources out that were already accumulated. So that's engagement zone PvP. That can happen at any time. I could take the zone over right now and it would start generating resources. Actually, you can see on the map, you can see people who have taken over engagement zones. It's really easy to see if anybody's taken one over. So you can see there are tons and tons of engagement zones all over the place that could be generating Stardust Source and fuel, and literally even guilds or even warbands that own frontiers do not take over their engagement zones because they have no value. They are completely dead, completely worthless. And that is not because the game format isn't fun. It's not because building a little defensive set of turrets and then defending your engagement zone wouldn't be fun. It's because the resources that you get are completely without value. It is a waste of your in-game time. So anyway, when somebody owns one of these engagement zones, the little oil rig symbol turns red in here. And that's how you know that somebody owns that engagement zone and that resources are being accumulated. And it even tells you right on the map how many resources have accumulated. So if you're looking for PvP, you can go take one of these over and just let it sit. Don't take any of the resources out. Eventually somebody will come looking to pick those resources up. But that's really all you can do at this point. So my proposal, the trick that I think would solve this problem, is to change the resources that are pulled out here. I think that a system needs to be put in place where you can get any resource that you would normally get from disassembling scrap as a reward for owning this engagement zone. And I think instead of anybody being able to just walk up and take it out, I think whoever owns it is the one who gets it. And if their ownership is ever destroyed, right, if your securement equipment is ever destroyed, then any accumulated resources just gets teleported back to your household. And then somebody else can take it over and start accumulating resources for themselves. Because you want people to need to take over these sites in order to be getting resources, so that there's a defense, so that there's a reason to stay there and hold that site, because somebody is going to be coming to take that site from you to get those resources. Those resources are mostly what you're going to be using to build up this location, right? You're going to need rubber, you're going to need electronics, you're going to need parts, you're going to need all of that stuff to build turrets, to build walls, to do all those things, to make this engagement zone as secure as possible, so that you and your hive can protect the engagement zone to get those resources. So I think there are two ways that you can go about getting these resources. Number one, you create a currency that gets pulled out here. I think you should call it crude star trace. And that currency could be sold to a vendor for any resources that you would normally get from disassembly. And I think it should be at an infinite amount, because this is the game loop on a PvP server, right? This is what you want your hardcore players doing, so that this is non-linear growth. This is horizontal growth. You're just accumulating resources to make more bullets, so that you can shoot more people in PvP, so that you can get more resources, so that you can shoot more bullets. Right? This doesn't put you ahead in any way from your more casual players. So you want your hardcore PvP players to be taking over these engagement zones and fighting for them all day, every day, until the new phase comes out next week, and then everybody takes a break for a day to beat all the content, and then we go back to PvPing each other. That should be the goal of engagement zone PvP, is to absorb the time of your hardcore players so that they have something to do while they're not outpacing your casual players. So I think, you get this crude star trace and you can trade it in, or if you don't want to have people be able to pick the resources that they get, because that means that you could get too high value resources, then you take the resource, the crude star trace, back to your disassembly bench, and it gives you a random allocation of resources based on just anything that you could normally get from the disassembly bench. And it's just this thing that you disassemble, and it gives you random resources, and so you can't pick and choose, and you get what you get. And I'm totally fine with that too. But the long and short of it is, the engagement zones need to be made more valuable, and they need to be made, the rewards need to be made a part of a loop that perpetuates going back to the engagement zone and fight. If you were able to sustain building the engagement zones based on the rewards you got from the engagement zones, then the engagement zones instantly become more useful. Right now, I don't need any more Stardust Source. I don't need any more fuel. I will be able to play for the next 3 weeks without getting any more of these things, because I'm naturally going to get more of it, because I've still got 50 component, or 50, I forget what they're called, 50 of the things that let you do dungeons. But I've still got 50 of those, so that's still 5,000 Stardust Source I've got. All of my weapons are maxed, all of my armors are maxed, so there's just no more value in Stardust Source for me outside of what I'm already going to get. So please, NetEase developers, make a change, give this some replayability, turn it into a self-perpetuating loop, and the PvP players will come out here and fight each other for these resources. I can assure you. So thank you very much for your time, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm trying to grow this channel. I just got started. I'm going to be streaming Once Human every single day, every single morning, NA time on PvP 01 tag 00001. Thanks again and have a great day.